submit designs to certain people or for certain things, and then just kind of see what feedback comes, happens. And, eventually just get myself to, write those kids' books and have that kind of life, like the design life is just kind of like where I want to go and be a part of. And, I'm trying to like put my thoughts together around as far as like a concept of some kind of bar show.
What does that mean? Bar show?
Well, you know how you have not necessarily like Chopped, but like these cooking shows where they might showcase certain chefs and blah, blah, blah. And they kind of go through that, like Chef's Table or something like that.
There's not something like that for bars? Or there is maybe?
Not that I've really seen.
There you go. I know
so I kind of want to.
Somebody at Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. Like one of the guys that helped out with the bar fight, like I really like his style. I mean, both of them had like really good like eyes and just kind of different. So, I want to approach them and just like, I can't pay you, but maybe like, would you be interested in like building this concept and seeing what we can do and like, at a lower cost or, like just kind of wing it enough, and using their editing skills and whatever and blah, blah, blah to put something out there. So almost having that, maybe instead of us being like on YouTube as far as like for our podcast, but maybe having that as some kind of like second or third piece that is still kind of in line with Good Time Bros and like still showing the community and still kind of like staying on focus with what we want to do.
So talking about Good Time Bros, like I think there's seems to me so much potential in what you guys can grab into your brand. But like currently, like when somebody says to you, what's Good Time Bros? What do you, I mean, you're one of the most authentic evangelizers. I'm sorry to use authentics because it's a great word, but I hate it so much because everybody uses it. Yeah. But you are so good at evangelizing other people and other brands. And I think that's one of the great things about what you and Franco and Good Time Bros does. It's like you're doing the thing that we talk about all the time. It's like you're willing to collaborate, but you're lifting other people up and you're saying, look at that, like you're just throwing this spotlight over to other people and like, look at these people, look at what they're doing. And
for sure. Yeah. And I mean, I think we could be doing it better. So I think that's kind of my focus for next year. I mean, it's kind of tricky and, without it seeming like I'm coming down on Franco about it, but, like he has, I think just some of his own certain goals. I mean, he's a lot younger than I am, and I think his direction and, I mean, he's thinking about moving away, he's got his lady, like family, having a family is really important to Franco. Oh, yeah. Being married, I think having kids, like he really wants kids and, and I talked to him the other day and I was like, yeah, man, they want to move to Kentucky possibly. And it's like,
what the fuck is in Kentucky?
I don't know. I mean, I don't mind Kentucky. I like Louisville. I like Bardstown.
Louisville's nice.
When I was out there, I was like, fuck yeah, I want to move here.
I want to go to Nashville.
So yeah, I haven't been there. But Franco's the kind of guy, and I think with the jobs that he's had, and he's been in charge with so many of the, like every little piece of every job. And he's a really smart kid. But I think he's the kind of guy, like he could go to Kentucky and open a hardware store and own it and be happy. And he could have his certain customers that would come in, maybe shoot the shit with him. And him getting to go home to his lady, and the kids.
Right.
I mean, I think, so I don't want to say that he doesn't have ambition per se, but I think he could get into a position and be really happy about it. And if he could still kind of spoil himself a little bit, if there's ways, like he's got a good network of friends, he does like attention, so he'd have, I think finding something that can still give him a little bit of attention, but at the end of the day, like being able to go home and be with his family is great. Yeah. I mean, I know he loves, being a part of this and, loves doing the podcast and, but I think the only thing for me is like, it's on my brain like every day, like all the time, and I think that's where him and I have, gotten into battles with each other. It's just like, I need you to do more.
Right.
And there's nothing I can do to motivate that, and not to make that sound ugly, but just like, we all have to be ready when we're ready.
Right.
And, when you feel that it's right and, he's got his own things that he goes through and is figuring out for himself. And I've always tried to allow that and try to be patient with him and, know that he has to grow and he is growing. And,
right.
But, has it stopped me? Yeah. And so I think this year it's just kind of like, I'm not going to worry about it. Like, right. I'm going to go for it. And if I do something that creates merchandise and makes money, then, like I'll give you a smaller percentage of it. But,
right.
But, like if I have to do these things, then it's that, because it's, again, it shouldn't really be even about us. Like we're almost kind of like high people in a sense, and it's like, we want to bring good vibes and we want to bring people together and meeting new people and exploit them, not exploit them, but like showcase them. And
yeah.
So, and just finding new ways, like I said, like to give back to the community and like to bring more awareness to our communities around here. And, I don't know.
Back to your point about like, you have to be ready when you're ready. And also I'm going to write this down because I want to put a pin in this about 2020. We should talk about this, but, this idea of like being in a place where I don't know how to say it because it's not like it's not putting me on a level or you on a level above others, but right. Sometimes creatively you get to a point where you're like, shit, like I can feel it and it's about to break out and there's like big ideas and big things and I can either wait for everybody to catch up or I can just, and not even knowing like what the next step is, but it's like, sometimes you feel like you're like, I need to jump now because I feel something is happening creatively and big. And I'm just going to like,
man,
I'm going to
for sure
push it and go for it. And what I'm finding is not everybody's comfortable with that, nor was I comfortable with it for a long time, but now I am. And now I'm comfortable with this idea of like, oh shit, I feel something creative coming on. I don't know what it means, but I'm just going to follow this yellow brick road until there's a fork in the road. And then I'm going to pick a side, but I'm going to do it whether you're on board or not, or so right. Whoever so something similar is happening around this studio as well. Like this, this is only the second podcast that we've done inside this new studio. And this was I have 3 other guys, including Phil, my producer, who have been so supportive in this idea, but we've created this beautiful studio. And before the studio was a thing, I was like, I want a studio because I want to have all the stuff set up.
Yeah.
And it's just easier. And
sure.
Then I was thinking, I got really kind of in on the design. And then the guys were like, what if we do this? And I started like digging my heels and I'm like, okay, fuck you guys. If we're going to do it, it's not going to look janky. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at some point it's going to be on camera and on video and we need to.
Yeah. I mean, you want to enjoy the space anyways.
And then it get moving forward. And now a week, like this has only been done for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I have a list of people, Danny, who want to actually pay to be a part of a podcast network that maybe we can create.
Yeah.
And they want to use this space. I don't want to sit and wait for everybody to catch up for me. Like I like, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's move on. And 2 weeks ago, it was not my idea to have a podcast network.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, holy shit, like this is going to be a thing. Let's see where this goes. And
fucking A,
it
why
feels
not?
good to be able to do that, to your point. And like in 2020, it's like, okay, Danny's got a craving or he's got an itch and he's going to follow it. And Franco can be here or be in Kentucky or whoever else. It's like, but
yeah, I mean,
do it.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked to him about it before. And just as far as like, what do you want to be involved with? Or like, how much can you give or what do you want to give? And that's just it, And I think,
but don't wait.
No, I know for sure. And, and I think that's what, for people to realize where it's not, it's not being, for sure. It's not being selfish, I mean, it's just being aware, like I said, I mean, 2 months ago, the last 2 months or whatever, it was like, I am done. I don't want to even fucking do anything with this. Like, I couldn't even think about cocktails. Like, my palate just felt out. Everything just felt terrible, you know? And
you were exhausted, though.
So
you were
I was, for sure.
Run down and exhausted.
But I think now, and then being able to, I think even just talking about me getting out of the industry and like how much that like switch, like I could feel the switch in my brain as far as like, just like cool out, man, like stay calm, like, you know, and figure out what your intent is and like what is your focus and how do you want your life to look like, and you know, are you ready? And it was just kind of coming and just kind of like feeling it, be ready. And I remember those times where it's like I try to do something and try to force it and it just doesn't feel good, you know. And
there's a fine line of where you have to not force it, but do put like you do have to like dip your toes in like someplace uncomfortable a little bit. And
for sure. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like the last 3 years, you know, I mean, I've done more, I think, with my life, in my life, than I ever have, you know, and taking those leaps and like challenging myself and doing things that I would normally be scared of and just not do and not even follow through. I mean, shit, even me going to Arizona tomorrow, like, and promising my niece in March that I would come back for Christmas or for her birthday, you know, like, dude, 6 years ago, I would have never gone. You know, like I wouldn't have followed through. 5 years ago, I probably would never have like done that. Like, you know, so just even me being conscious about that, the fact that I did get the ticket and then I am going to go, you know, and it's just things like that where it's just like, yeah, maybe somebody could listen and be like, yeah, but that's what you do. But it's like, yeah, but if you're not used to always doing that or like used to doing the other thing, you know, so I think just being able to give ourselves credit and be grateful and like for some of the things that we have done and overcome, you know, especially, I mean, if there are self battles, it's like, fuck, man, you're always just kind of battling and yeah. And now, I mean, this whole week and like certain other people that I've just met, you know, cause it's just fun how the universe introduces people into your life when you're at that point and just being like, fuck yeah, man, it's time to go. And, you know, and I even kind of hate telling myself like, yeah, next year. And like, I know I should be doing it now, but I know I still need some more like my balls cupped a little bit longer, you know, like, hold on, not ready yet.
Do you feel like,
going.
I had this
finger
really,
in the butt.
I love you so much. You're my people. You are so my people. How's that White Claw over there?
I don't even know why I'm drinking it.
You don't have to drink it.
It's like making me have to like pee.
There's a fridge full of beer. Do you want to pause? Like you can go to the bathroom. No. There's Spirit Works vodka over there. There's some wine and there's tequila. Like you have everything you need.
I'm good.
Except for water.
No. I've only had oatmeal to eat today, and so
that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, I got food upstairs.
Burger.
Burgers are good. Do you have a favorite burger around here?
No.
I feel like we're lacking Picasso burgers in Petaluma. I do love them.
I don't really eat that many hamburgers. Like if I probably eat more In-N-Out burgers than I do any other kind of hamburger.
I know, I don't either. It's because we don't have access to good. I want a good freaking burger.
Jackson's has a good burger.
I don't know what that is.
Jackson's in Santa Rosa? Barnum?
I know literally nothing about Santa Rosa other than I do love to take the train from downtown Petaluma
right by the
to
train
downtown.
station upstairs in Santa Rosa.
Downtown?
Yeah, like where the train drops you off, like you literally like walk towards the mall and like Jackson's is right in the corner there.
Okay.
It's like one block.
That's not the place that I texted you a picture from that one time when I was sitting at the bar on the corner.
I don't remember.
No.
Yeah.
2020, I had this really feeling, like strong feeling the other day. I'm like, fuck, 2020 is going to be a badass year for me.
It's gonna be badass.
I can feel it. Like, I feel like there's going to be some good shit that's going to happen for me in 2020.
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah, it does feel good.
All right.
I mean, like I said, I mean, earlier, there's still some like, what am I going to do for work type of things that I need to figure out. And so those are the parts where it's like, don't freak out. Like, what, like make a decision. where do you want to go? Or just like, you know, what do I need to do? But I also want to just kind of like limit it, you know. I mean, if I can just work with Puente still and do that, I love that. And then like one other spot, you know. I mean, because I know I can't bartend that much more, you know, like or that many days.
That is so hard. I mean, the schedule, the intensity. I don't know how you do it, but like, how many places do you work?
I
feel like okay.
Yeah,
I feel like you're always somewhere different when I talk to you.
For sure. I mean, well, because I was trying to get away from bartending, and